Hello and welcome to City Courtyard Garden, and it's now December. Actually, I'm filming this in January, but owing to the fact that there was a lot of work commitments, Christmas, bad weather, I didn't actually get done anything in the garden. So with more ado, I'll show you some photographs I took, and then some of the roundup of the October and the November. So come and join me in the City Courtyard Garden. Now we're into December, the pear tree is free from any kind of leaves now. But coming into view is the square foot garden. This is still quite productive even in the middle of December. And here we have the leeks that are in full fettle and probably ready to be harvested. Here they are again. Some of them are a little bit blown by the wind, but they still look healthy enough. And here we have the purple sprouting, ready to be, well, it's going to be producing their florets in a short little while. Down here we've got the Michaelmas daisies and a few other things which are probably spreading all their leaves. And the hydrangea, which is at the top of the garden. A bit too big a plant to have this garden. Not as big as wallflowers, and that about sums up this garden for the moment. So let's visit the other garden. Here we are, the window view from one of the bedroom windows, and you can see the two beds at the bottom covered in fleece. In here we've got some purple sprouting in the table garden, and you'll see that I've got plenty of water in the butts which I've collected. A bit untidy there at the moment, I must confess. Here's the purple sprouting again in the tabletop garden, which means I can work at waist level, which is very handy for me really. Here it is again. You notice that the wind has blown the tarpaulin over and knocked some of the plants away from it a bit. This is what the raspberries look like in December. A few raspberry canes sticking up, and that they probably need mulching at the moment, so I'll probably do that in January as well. Here we're coming to my black currants, which don't get trimmed at all. They don't get pruned at all. They just seem to grow happily, and they're quite bushy now. And my two blueberry bushes. Do you remember I planted one earlier on in the season with a few herbs around the outside? Here are my fleeced growing beds, and underneath the fleece you can see the purple sprouting, no, the cabbages, beg your pardon, spring cabbages growing in one underneath the fleece. And there's my pond, looking somewhat bedraggled at the moment, but in the news, once the weather warms up, we'll have another look at that. Now we're getting towards the end of October. The Michaelmas daisies have past their best. Here's another plant that tends to spread like anything. In this part of the garden, it's fine. It makes a lovely piece of colour towards the end of the year. This is a square foot garden. And so far, we've had a very productive year. And over here we've got Swiss chard, and the rest of it are leeks. We have had strawberries in here, and the thing about strawberries is once you've had a strawberry, and like potatoes, they don't always go away. This runner bean we've allowed to grow on with the intention of collecting the beans. So we've got some pods here. If I just pull this pod open and open it up and see if we've got any decent seeds. Here we go. Espalier pear tree.
which unfortunately was not a good sprouter this year, owing to the late spring probably, and the blossom wasn't fertilised at all, so it didn't turn into fruit. Worm tea, and this is what happens. And this is the apparatus that makes the worm tea. Essentially, it is a beer making. It's a real mess. So there's lots of jobs to be done on this garden. It is a mess, and it could be quite a nice garden if I just put my mind to it, which is part of the reason for making this video. The pear tree is now lost most of its leaves after the heavy winds we've had in the last week or two. I'll put them right into the ground, and making sure they're standing up quite erect. Deep into the ground, cover that up. Now I should have enough for a patch. I've actually got another garlic in here, but I'll just stick with one for the moment. Ooh, that is really stinky. It's like going to, well, there we go. That will keep them fairly warm for the winter. There we go. Ah, that's good. Right, once the winds come, you see, it's going to blow that around. But it gives you a bit of light, and it gives it a bit of protection as well. You might recall I planted this purple sprouting, and you might also recall that I once said, once you've had potatoes, you've always got potatoes. And guess what? They've started growing again, and I really don't need them. Last year I had some onions growing here, and I had an incidental crop of potatoes from the potatoes I had the previous year. This is the third year they've made an appearance. Guess where they're going? In the compost heap, of course. Finally, I'll top it up with ericaceous compost. And that's all I'm going to do with this garden for the moment.